At this time, Nu Jisu spoke up. Hear that? The middle buttocks immediately become tense. She saw it all, damn it. First, it's as if nothing happened. I saw the middle of the sword. Jesus immediately became alert. Quickly on the defense. She nervously asked you. You want to kill someone? Stupid ass looking bewildered looking at her. You're a killer. What are you crazy about? Suddenly, he hurriedly covered his face with his hand. The atmosphere right now became extremely quiet and tense. They looked at each other and smelled of gas. Nasty ass, look in aesthetic lap. What happened naturally? Now, there's only one way. The next second, he quickly put the sword in his pocket. Clasped hands politely and respectfully. Smiling, I said, "Excuse me." I saw you leave. Jesus hurried to stop. Wait a minute. However, the middle buttocks were a step faster for her. Directly plug head plug neck one circuit, running away. It's like being chased by a ghost. Don't T look back at even one. Jesus stood there. I can't help but watch your back leave. You seem a little attached to something. Nu Jisu mouth constantly murmuring Mexico. On the other side, the ass is still running away. You're worried that green beans startle me. Only one person can hear at this time. So there's probably no one to believe. If you say a word, you have to do something. If you see a monk later, you have to be more careful. Suddenly, the middle of the road stopped. He said, but before he returned, I have to do something. Think for a moment. Then the middle buttocks quickly ran to another direction. You have to finish this before you return. The flower painted. The scene moves to another place. It's a very crowded and bustling market. A visitor said, Urine too, give me a cold urinal. Urine to agile answer yes. Invite guests inside. My ass right now, sitting in a roadside diner. He drank the wine in his hand. Smiling brightly said, It's this smell. Let's see. After the wine I brought back from the cave. I'm used to drinking. But this is a privilege that the chief buyer gave me. I need to know how to take advantage of it. Right? Chung, enjoy the delicious dishes on the table. It's so tough. You complain. Just let everything go naturally. But Satan forbids doing so many things. What are you doing? Just drink a little wine and you're in trouble. Even though they are religious. When he finished, he drank the wine in his hand. A bit of comfort. Right now, the shape of the Rampu seems to be coming up. Talk to you. You are a warrior too, child. The middle buttocks smiled and sighed a little. You told young Moon the other two brothers. You're about to turn 100 years old. Can you compare it to those kids? Slowly put the wine down on the table. He looked at the glass of wine in his hand. I can't help but feel a little sad in my heart. But it doesn't taste the same anymore. Brother. It tastes best when you drink it. Just finished. He poured the glass of wine straight up and drank it all. Looking bitter ass, thinking in my heart. That's ridiculous. I never remembered. The person who's been sitting across from you all his life. But why do I miss him so much now? If you can see the poor fake the suffering of mine, maybe he'll laugh at me. All the nobles are like that. We used to be called Taoists or fairies of the world. But actually, I'm just an old man with a lot of tricks. The more I think your mood is going down. A while later, the ass finally got its spirit back. Have fun back. He smiled and said, there's probably nothing like that in here. That's right. Seconds later, the middle buttocks quickly poured the wine cup up. A little bit out of the cup. It's cold as ice. There are other wise fairies here, or Sao. The brothers have not changed. In that place, you can live happily. Right now, there's a bunch of people in black coming inside. They just walked in the door. The owner welcomed me in. They're sitting not far from the buttocks. I sat down and complained. I haven't eaten well in a long time. He was going to break the glass to the neck. Brother. The person next to me continued. That's why we came here. Maybe the teachers will understand us. The buttocks heard their conversation. Thinking in my heart, brother pushes Sao. He slowly looked at those people. From top to bottom, young men dressed in school clothes. They look like they're 30 years old. There are flowers on the chest tomorrow. Maybe it's the nuns people. Suddenly in the ass, I felt a cowering stomach. If you run into them, you'll be in trouble. Let's finish drinking and get out of here. The person next to them asked them, but what about you? I was supposed to meet you at Hoam. The man replied to me about the painting first. You know, master, it's hard to tell. The other asked again. So the teachers already know we're back. The Kier said again. No wonder. Who doesn't know you're a strange person? Then the people turned around and said, two give me the best food today. That's right for the number of people in our group. Bring us wine too. The middle buttocks heard that silently judging them. Now there are only the second generation of disciples. Dare to go to the middle of the fire. Just drink like this. Even if you come back to the sect, you have to keep the standard. My time, if they are caught, they will be locked up in a prison cell. I spent a week looking at four walls and swinging my sword. It's hard to talk to kids these days. The boy in the middle, he seems to be the oldest of them. Then yes. He poured wine for the brothers and spoke softly. Drink up, you've worked hard. The Kier people smiled at him. No one is as hard as the brothers. We're just following you. White Sky heard that and smiled with satisfaction. Happy to say, thank you for saying that. I just saw his face. In the ass was startled with wonder. I said, oh Mom? Why are you so handsome? Men as I look and like. How do you feel like a knight? Out of the legend. So. Why do I see this? It's wrong. Who is it? The other side continued to speak. More than anyone, I know that you are the ones trying the hardest. This wine is for you. No need to feel pressure. Drink to your heart's content, but don't get too drunk. The people thank you, brother. The middle buttocks just ate and kept muttering thank you. I remember that sect. Suddenly, someone asked my brother, "So what is your current level of strength? You guys are so hard. Can you achieve good results in the community?" Auntie looked at him silently and said nothing. For a moment, he hesitated to tell them. "Actually, I'm not sure about this, sister. South is very strong. They are the best in the real world." Kier nodded in love. "Yes, that's right." White Sky continues to say, "In the past, we actually belonged to the 9 factions. But right now, the distance between the South and us is too great. It's just about reputation. Reputation and power are not connected. In the last chapter of the church, we have lost 7. But we see the distance. It's not that big between us and the South. We've been up late. Practice all the time, maybe all this time, that we've gone through a period of silence. It's hard to practice, and we're constantly pushing ourselves," he said White Sky and held out his hand. "Countless injuries. Show them. We've done our best. And those efforts will definitely not betray us. Now we're strong enough to compete." The person next to me asked the male. He picked up the wine and continued. "The South is still the South as in the early days. But the paint is still the original paint or not. We can't decide anything. If we could just keep trying. The story of us crossing the South. It's not impossible. Listen to this." Middle buttocks are sitting nearby. I can't help laughing. That sprayed all the food in Ra's mouth. Those people see that. I immediately turned to look at him suspiciously. The atmosphere was suddenly eerily quiet. The middle of the ass suddenly felt that something was wrong. Turn around and look at them. The White House is now paying attention to your presence. He stared at his middle ass incredulously. "Dry buttocks," said the wand full of rye. "There are cows. But that White Sky is still staring at you. I feel a little panicked about that. Aesthetically, he wasn't fooled. I've been very deep, really." While you're thinking, the sky suddenly called out to my brother. "My ass is restless." White Sky bluntly inquired, "Who is that brother?" "I've never met my brother in this painting. Ever have to be. If you don't mind, maybe let me ask your brother's name and family name, okay?" This time I was filled with cold sweat. Hesitated to answer. "What is that?" I'm in a panic right now thinking, oh my God. It's real. What to do now? White Sky stand up, staring at the middle of the butt, with a suspicious face. In his heart, he wondered, who is that kid? From the first time I entered this place, I felt the magic of harmony. Seems, as we know, why is the mood like this? It must be the boy, Ra. She glanced at the food on the table. It's a little bit of an aesthetic surprise. Now a child is only 15 years old. That ordered thousands of dollars worth of food. And drink, so sao. As far as we know, a son of a merchant. Or the son of a great official. There's so much money to enjoy in such a wild way. Alone in the air. At least among young children like this. If so, who is that kid after all? It's hard to understand looking at you. His eyes can also feel his eyes. I'm looking at myself. Quickly beat the drum. Smiling shyly said, I'm just a passerby. Don't bother to do anything. Just eat and don't worry about me, haha. White Sky squinted at you. It's just a passerby. It doesn't make any sense. If so, this little brother. The fact that we met was a blessing. What do you think? It's about us presenting identities. Just finished, the White Sky quickly held. Chair goes to the middle of the buttocks. He slowly put down his chair. And then sit next to you. White Sky smile. Raise your hand and say hello to me. Second generation disciple of the great flower painting. I saw him come so close. Middle buttocks turn to the other side. Try to avoid him as if avoiding evil. You unpleasantly swear in the heart of green beans. Why is this guy so tough as a leech? I can't help but say it. A while later, the buttocks grinned and replied, We have no identity. Ha ha ha. White Heaven is determined not to ignore you. To keep talking, while the face is hidden. It's not a gentleman's morality. Right. His ass looks a little irritated. This imam is a nuisance. If so, I'll be a civilian. When he finished, the buttocks quickly stood up. One hand holds a bottle of wine. One hand covers his face. The white man looked at you with a puzzled expression on his face. Smiling ass said, I have a little work to do. Then you left in a hurry. My ass hasn't even taken a few steps. Was called back to this little brother by the White Sky. I want to talk to you a little bit. The middle buttocks replied, I'm not interested in men. So, if you'll excuse me. The next second, the White Sky glared at you with his breath. He's blunt. Not yet attacking the center. Where did that come from? Lucky for his flexible body, that the middle buttocks dodged his moves. Then middle buttock plug head plug neck run a circuit. You're working hard. White Sky stood there with a surprised face. He was wondering what just happened. Why is that? That kid doesn't need to look. He can avoid SAO. My silver beast. There's no way this is ridiculous. I saw him sitting there like that. The man next to me asked the four of you. Why did you let go when you caught it? White Sky heard him say that. Are you afraid to close your hands? Smiling shyly explained, I think forcing a child like that, it's really not allowed. He said, ha ha, it asks the four brothers. Say that in your mouth, but in his heart. I can't help but be confused right now. Mouth constantly muttering should be new like that. I made a mistake. The scene moved to another place on the Kier side. Look at your ass and talk. White Prince SAO is a bit annoying. Help the bottle to drink. In the heart of aesthetics, until now. One of the reasons make life in Hoa paint quite comfortable. Part, it's the age difference between the prosthetic and the prosthetic. The scariest thing for new recruits. Not a general or an emperor. Trung Cotton poured the bottle of wine down his mouth, babbling. Nothing has been drunk. I'm not too drunk yet. But I never thought. I've got to run away again by that stupid imam. Too out tight. I shouldn't have left there. There, how many delicious dishes have not yet been enjoyed? Really sorry. But that, his long and mythical words. It's impossible not to laugh. The middle butt contemptuously said he wanted to arrest Nam. Really, guys like him. I only live by my mouth. That's it. Thiu na silver sao haha. It is also called silver. It's really over. About that, it is even more shocking to meet the students of Ba. For the first time ever. Ba radio disciples, I don't know how much to learn martial arts. Although SAO, at that time, there was also learning martial arts properly. But the second generation is different. Life is the foundation stage. From life 2, that's the stage where students have to grow up. Through my own training process. Your S says, oh my God. We can't waste time like this. When he finished, he put the bottle on the ground. A circuit that goes straight ahead. Determined to tell yourself, at this age, we have to make the most of our time. The scene moved to Hoa-san, Fiend. There's a man shouting Yo one out loud. All the disciples of the third generation gathered together and armed their fields. The four ends are back. The Yogin put on his shirt and calmly replied to him. I know. I'm right here. When he finished, he quickly tightened his belt. Suddenly you remember Come to think of it, that middle-aged boy is back. SAO. It's in the middle of the room. Sandal cords are littered everywhere. My ass is currently in bed. Lay down and sleep a good night. I no longer know what heaven and earth are. Yo one just walked in the door. I had to panic cover my nose. The smell of wine is so strong, he's been drinking. Yogu rushed to wake up his buttocks. My ass is 4. There is no movement in the middle. Yogu stopped. It seemed like he had an idea in his head. The Yogin mustered up his courage to speak aloud. Wake up and see the straight. But the words haven't come out yet. The middle buttock suddenly sat up. It gives the Zogun a panic. He hurriedly turned his face the other way. Grinning, awkwardly beating the drum. The weather is so beautiful today. The buttocks asked him to come. The confused Yogin said, well, it's nothing. Tired middle buttocks reached up and sighed. I drink a little wine and I fall asleep. Yo one stood by thinking in his heart. Sleeping straight like that. Yogin can't stand it. The smell of alcohol coming out of my ass. It's hard to put your hands behind your nose. Uncle is back. Go to the bathroom. It smells like wine full of people. Are you kidding? The middle butt doesn't say. Suddenly put your hands over your nose. Then take a deep breath. The smell of alcohol on you. It's all around now. Yo one said with his mouth wide open. The smell of alcohol is gone. Virtual reality. Slowly out of the smoke. He told the Yogin to drink. Why do you talk so much? In terms of purity. That is sacred, brother. After that, the Chinese quickly went out. Come out. You're beaten up for being late. On the way to China, I asked Goldbeard. SAO, we have to participate in the second generation of disciples. Yeah. The Yogin replied, you're welcome though. Those are the ones who came back, after practicing hard training. The buttocks heard that and sighed a little. I am tired of thinking in my heart. Just a place like Hugh Dong Station. There's no light, nothing to do. He swung his sword a few ways and said, "Ah, I have been practicing." That. Just sipping delicious bait and dancing a few sword lines. They only know how to drink. Arrogantly saying that cultivation is also said to be hard. Yogan told you. This time, the four spirits were no longer carrying swords. Anyway, then they'll hit the south button just once. The director was also very determined and supportive of the practice. Then, you also have to be careful about your attitude. The four winds of the white sky are very strict, so just behave like normal. Then he won't be angry. Yowu is serious about you. Chinese Cotton knows how to smile and answer. You know, don't worry. Yogan is still not assured of reminding. I told you you'd probably get a lot of scold. Middle Buttocks calmly replied, You know, you talk too much. A while after the last. Then everyone has gathered enough in the Middle East. Chun Cotton saw Yogan and Chunong going too. I'm talking about Sao. The Yogan answered, Yes, brother. At this moment, there was a voice behind me. The second generation has arrived. Open the mountain. The gate was immediately opened. From a distance, a group of people are coming in. The people saw that and said, Oh. Here they are, the mood is different. And then everyone applauded enthusiastically. The Middle Buttocks stood there watching the Kier people enter. Leading them is the white sky that you met earlier. Aesthetic ass looking aesthetic, indeed. Even if he looks like that. Looking at it, it's really handsome. Or out before. I've heard a little bit too. The sound of applause. On the contrary, standing here should suit me. Girls when makeup is done. Down the street along a welcome line. At this moment, Jia Mun seems to be next to me. Whispered in his ear a reminder of conscience. He glanced at him in disgust. Don't get involved in anything like this. At this time, it seems, the Lord also paid attention to your presence. He glared at you suspiciously. The next second quickly turned around and walked away. White sky straight closer to the middle of the butt. The Middle Buttock saw that and glanced at him. White sky quickly picked up her sleeves. Use shirt scales. In front of the buttocks. You look at him with a confused expression. I don't know what he wants to do. You two just stand there looking at each other. No one said a word. After a while, the white sky grinned. Maybe not. Is my acquaintance Sao? Brother White looked at you with hidden eyes. Middle Buttocks angry look white angel grinding aesthetic teeth. What is it, asshole? Don't you want me to be bored? White sky most grinning mouth told middle ass, looking at these eyes it seems. You know who I am. The Middle Buttocks calmly replied to me. I don't understand at all. What else is this brother trying to say? Slowly close your hands, white sky. That's weird. It seems like someone I know. Since when did you start teaching? The cotton jar standing next to him spoke up. This child, since the last 4 hours have left Hoa-sun. I just started training not long ago. White sky full of doubt said yes, Sao. But it seems that you guys look pretty close to each other. As a big brother, I have to take good care of my sister. Is that right, little brother? The Lord turned to tell them. No matter what, I have a relationship with you. First time meeting, but it feels so familiar now. What can I call you? His ass is a little uncomfortable looking at him. It's called middle butt. White Sky achieved its goal. Smiling continued middle as Sao. And I am the White Sky. At this moment, Olgan in the distance shouted out in frustration. Master is waiting for you. You can stand there and talk in private. Come here quickly. When he saw that, he quickly turned around and left. Before he left, he didn't forget to say, maybe we'll see each other more often in the future. So be sure to remember my name. For some middle butt. My ass is silent and says nothing. Glared at the White Sky. It's like trying to eat him alive. After the White Sky left, Chun Cotton at the side inquired, I've met the 4 white angels before. The buttocks replied, no. I find your attitude so strange. Chun Cotton can't help but doubt. Then Chun Cotton told him. The 4 ends of the White Sky are called the atmosphere of paint flower, who was praised by CA as having potential, will restart the paint. When the paint comes down, the Chinese were surprised to say, the atmosphere of Hoa Sun Sao. That's what I hear when I get a stuffy nose. You think in your heart, maybe it could be changed to another name. I remember thinking about my brother Jiang Mun. Your mouth is only for swearing at drinking. Why, you idiot? Ha 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 ha. The middle ass said, but the atmosphere of Hoa Sun. It's not Yo One. Or why, I hear you say that. Yo One startled shoot me in amazement Tao Sao. He was embarrassed to remind. What are you talking about? You'll hear it now. His ass looking puzzled looking at him. You don't have to react so violently. The Yogin explained, the 4 angels are the ones we dare not follow. His ass looked at him. You have to surrender so well. That sounds too modest. Just in time to remember something. You startled the most military aesthetics Sao. It seems good to hear it at a glance, even though its meaning is the opposite. When studying and studying together, it's a natural thing to do. But the idea of an academic being trapped in a flock of chickens, that's quite unusual. In most cases, there will be an error. A while later, everybody's got enough Middle East in the yard. The White Sky stood in the middle of the majestic and energetic. From the far side, there's a girl slowly approaching. Jesus came near to the White Sky. Just stand behind him. I saw Jesus looking forward to thinking in his heart. Of course, there's White Prince here, Lizuko. Maybe all day. She's not going to say anything to me or anything. The Yogin standing next to him was smiling, right? I can hardly take my eyes off Lizuko. For the first time, I can take my eyes off. She's so beautiful. The Chinese heard him say that. I can't get out of chicken skin. Are you disgusted to say something? The Yogin continued. But don't dream. Luchiko already has an idea for the White Sky. Listen to him. 2 people Chung Ass and Chun Cotton must be covered. Tighten your ears and contemptuously grimace your face. Yo One is embarrassed to blush with anger and shout. What did I say wrong? I've met one of those people before. I don't know. Lu Chiko. She is known as the First Lady of the West. The middle buttock sighed full of clams. What sect is it that the air of the sky is full of paint? American First Lady of the West. Who doesn't know? Maybe people think we're blind. When he finished, he tapped the yogin on the shoulder. If you practice your sword in time of love, like the four ends, you must have become a celebrity by now. The yogin replied with a sigh. Being a person is not what you want. Stop talking. On the other side, the white sky is clasping hands. The tiger screamed at us, "Please be seen." The disciples behind him also followed him with their hands. The crowd of them shouted, "Please let us have a show." The head of the Hua Sect smiled and told them, "You've worked hard. Are you tired of practicing?" White sky full of air answer. Not tired at all. This is a training course with the subject that we need. Must work hard and complete. How dare you say that? I'm tired. You see, I asked him if he was successful. White sky, continued Bahoa, said, I realized that, the way of swordsmanship and cultivation, there's really no stopping point. However, before the practice began, we promised ourselves we'd get it. Then I came back. When you hear that, praise. That's a good thing. He turned to talk to me. Brother the boss. Not, we should also have a little party. Congratulations to the disciples for completing their training. Hard to come back or what? When I heard that, my face became unhappy. He said, what is the point of having a party with Tung? You look at him in a panic, boss. Big brother agreed. No, of course, we have to have a party. Please allow me to get ready. When he finished, he quickly turned and left. As he walked, he kept muttering. If you know how hard it is, it just works. Why do you have to be like that? You see him like that. It's hard to understand thinking in your heart. After the trade union, does he keep saying strange things? And then he turned to me and said, Yuong Am, please help me get these dancers to rest. The Lord quickly answered, yes, master. You keep talking to the middle. The middle buttocks replied, yes, what's wrong? Master, please talk to me a little. I have something to tell you. My ass is straight again. I hear you say that. White sky immediately stopped. Turn around, looking at the middle of the butt with a look of bewilderment and wonder. Aesthetic again. That's the kid's name. Dare to tell the boss again what? Are you kidding? You're trying to convince your ass. If I prepare sweets for you, are you coming? The middle buttock sighed and replied, I know. I'll be right here. After saying that, the Chinese quickly ran to the master. The white sky standing next to him was still stunned. I hesitated to say for. Who is that kid after all? Gum told him. Maybe just being concerned about health. His spirit will be good. Especially brother. When he finished, he immediately turned and left, leaving white sky there with a lot of concern. It's in my head. White sky dare not believe. Is this the painting I used to know? The scene moves to the kitchen.